Hello and welcome to Tip of the Week by CADtech Seminars. You can check us out on the web at thebimguys.com. We do training and support for Revit, AutoCAD, and Navisworks. Let's get on with our video here. What we're going to talk about is when you link in an architectural model into an MEP model, and they're using phasing. What tools do you have as an MEP or as a mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineer to deal with the architect's model that underlays it? So let's take a look. I'm going to go ahead and link in a model. I'm going to go up top. You've probably done this before. Insert, link Revit. I'm going to go down here and just pick this one phase example, and I hit open. All right, now I'm currently running in 2017, but this works in all versions. Now when it comes in, you'll notice that first of all, I'm going to zoom in, it looks very light. Part of that is because of the discipline. You'll notice here it says discipline mechanical. Now if I change this discipline to coordination, you'll notice that it changed the look of the screen. The problem is it's just messed up all of my organization. You'll notice on the left hand side how the view here, coordination, came alive and it moved the MEP to that location. So what if you don't want that to happen? You're like, man, that's not what I want to happen. You can continue to use your subsets or your disciplines to organize, and you'll see it goes back to where it was, but it then also goes back to this scenario. So what we have the ability to do is play with some other settings. Let's take a look at that now. So coordination is one way to do it. Another way is we'll go up top to Manage. I'll now click on Additional Settings, and you'll see down here it says Halftones and Underlays. Now when I fire this up, there is an auto apply halftone. You see that? Now I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and I hit OK on that. You'll notice that the halftones are not being brought into play anymore. Notice I'm still in mechanical, and now I can see I've got bold walls, I've got walls to be demolished, I have existing to remain, and I have temporary. That's what all we have showing here. And this is using Revit settings out of the box. So different companies set these up a little different, so you may have a different look and feel. The problem is my, let's say, phasing may look a little different from the architect's. So how can I, again, manipulate that? So let's take a look. I'm going to type VV for Victor, or it's actually for visibility graphics. Now you hit the button right here, or I'll just type VV. When this fires up, you can see we have the visibility graphic overrides for this view. Now as I come through here, you'll see we have Revit links. Now I can come over here and flip this thing to halftone. I hit OK. Notice it does halftone it. And you're thinking, wait a second, we just told it not to halftone. That's an interesting little play there. So when I zoom in and out, you'll see that they are somewhat halftoned. Let's go back to that again. VV. VV. Now when it comes up, Revit links, and I'll also do underlay. What underlay is going to do is kind of drop it to the back. So if I'm doing piping, you may have noticed that the toilets interfere with the from the architect's model, interfere with your piping and your mechanical or your plumbing. So the underlay will alleviate that. Again, it drops back, and notice it looks good again. So you do not have to utilize this mechanical tool where it auto grays the model. That's just set by default. But that is how you adjust it. So let's kind of recap. Additional settings, halftone and underlay. If we turn this off, it doesn't do it automatically. We'll hit OK on that. The next thing we did was typed in visibility graphics, VG or VV, and we adjusted the Revit links. Now, one of the other things we can do is, see it says by host view here? If you're running it by host view, it's going to pick up all the parameters that are set up in the MEP model, and it will try to accommodate it and make the linked model match. Let's check that out. Hit cancel. Now I am in the MEP model again. Okay, you can see over on the left hand side. I'm going to go up to my phasing. Now in the phasing area, if I go over here to, let's say, phase filters, you can see we have all these different overrides, etc. And if you've fooled with phasing before, you probably understand how these work. The graphic overrides, though, you'll see here, this model, the current one I'm in, says existing is a gray line. So those are existing walls to remain. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy, and I'm going to come down here and say, let's change him to maybe magenta. I hit OK on that. I hit OK. So you'll notice now when I hit OK, you'll see there are the walls that remain are actually pink, right, or magenta. New walls are black, etc. So we can adjust our phasing, and the architect's model will follow. Okay. Now we can break that association if we want. For instance, let's say in my model I want to show maybe my walls existing to remain to be pink, but the architect has them to be gray. And I'm thinking, you know what? I want to use the architect settings. Now sometimes it's easier if I just set my phasing up, and I'm going to go down to the bottom here. You'll see I'm going to set up my phasing. I'm going to say, let's say maybe show complete. So I'm going to hit show complete. So now I'm showing the completed model here, and I'm going to lay my ductwork on it. Now you'll notice that, again, the architect's model is showing through, but I have the ability to change the look and feel of the linked model. So you have full control. Now I'm going to say show complete here, so it shows all my ducts completed. But I can go up here to phasing, excuse me, not phasing, VV again. That's visibility graphics. Click on that button. And what I'm going to do is go back to the Revit links. Now you'll see it says host view. If I change this and I go change it to custom, you now have the ability to link just about anything. The first one that's pretty easy is use the architect's predetermined views. See, if I say show the architect's demo view and I hit OK, and I hit OK, you're thinking, well, maybe it's not working that well. Let's try that again. We'll go back and again, VV, and we say Revit links. Go back to custom here, and we now have the ability to play with these. So new construction, show complete. So I can say show construction. Let's say show demo, and let's say previous and demo. So what I'm doing is I'm not going to use his views anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say set his to new construction, show previous and demo. Okay, let's try that out. I'm going to hit apply on that, and I hit OK. And notice how I have control. Mine is showing complete. His is showing existing to remain in demo. So we have that ability to change them. So if I need to show something different in his model than my model, that gives us the ability. So you have the ability to do that. So I'm going to go back up here, keep it going to phases, VV. I can also take a picture of this using view templates. So notice Revit links. So now here I have the ability to adjust these different aspects. We also have an ability to adjust other things. I can change his background to maybe architectural. I hit OK on that. Now that sometimes will change, especially on the structural side. If you're structure, and you'll notice I can't see the architect's walls underneath because mine's set to structure. Now this is for the structural people. What you can do as a structural engineer, you go back to, again, VV, you go back to Revit links, and you say, even though I'm a structural plan, take the underlay and underlay it as architectural. What that's going to do is going to show you all the walls, not just the structural walls. So you can play with these little tools here and really associate or adjust what we need to show. For instance, the view ranges. You can adjust the view ranges. You can use predetermined views. Now if I come over here and say use a linked view, and I'm going to say use the first floor, let's say maybe temporary walls. When I hit apply on that, let's see what we get. Notice how it's showing their particular view. So what happened earlier was I had it on custom, but now if I say use their linked view, it'll use the exact one. Hit OK, hit OK. So here's a trick. Let's say you're looking at their drawings and you say, man, that first floor demo plan looks perfect. I want to use that in my MEP plan. Not a problem. Type in VV. Go to Revit links. Go to here and turn on linked view. This gives you the ability as the MEP group to show any view that you want to see, including you can actually have it where you show the annotation also. So you can show the architectural plan with annotation, etc. So once you get the linked view maybe set up the way you want, you may then go say I'm going to do custom. Now at this point I'm going to hit OK. I hit OK, and you see how it's kind of stuck. Now if I want to turn off any annotation that's in the architect's model, I'm going to go back to VV again, Revit links, and now I'm going to take it further. So I started with the linked view, look good. Then I can hit custom and then start to associate or adjust what I need. I can even go to annotation and say in the architect's model, host view, linked view, custom. Go to custom, say turn off all the annotation. So I can really utilize what the architect's already set up instead of me trying to reinvent the wheel. So that's a nice way to set those things up in Revit. Now, one other thing you may consider doing is, let's say the architect has 4 phases. Maybe it's a hospital, there's a lot going on, and you've got 4 phases in yours, but you don't know how they're all matching up. For instance, you flip something on, it flips theirs off, and theirs is off, and yours is on, and it's just wonky. What you can do is grab the linked model, okay? Then, the linked model, if you hit edit type, you'll see in here, we have this thing called phase mapping. Now this looks a little big. Let me kind of make it smaller so we can see it. But what phase mapping does, it gives you, the MEP, structural guy, the ability to map to theirs. For instance, see when I'm playing with my existing, for instance, if I turn off my existing, it turns off his existing. if I have new construction, it matches his construction. Many of the phasing problems I've run into when I go into different offices and check things out, it may be the engineer has 2 phases, but the architect has 4. So what happens is when I hit existing, I get some weird results. When I hit new construction, I get weird results. So what I do is I take a look at theirs. And if they've got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, what I may do is I'll go in here and I'll create myself a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. And then I can cross-reference them. And that way I can turn on and off, kind of play the game they're playing. So I can, let's say, show my phase 4 ductwork, show my phase 2 ductwork, etc. So that is some of the tricks of dealing with phasing and Revit, and hopefully that clarifies a handful of tidbits there. So hope you enjoyed the tip. If you have any questions, check us out on the web at thebimguys.com. Thank you.